It's a very tragic story coming out of Winder, GA. And I want you guys to hear this story. But before we get into the details about what happened to this baby that you guys see on my screen, such a tragedy. But let me give you guys a fair usage. And yeah, somebody says she's got a beautiful smile. She does, man. But I want y'all to hear her story. But let me give you a disclaimer before we start. Here we go. Some viewers may find the following content offensive and controversial. The information in this video comes from multiple sources, including court records, official police charges, news web articles, and interviews. This video commentary also contains my personal opinions about the facts of this story. The point is to use this story as a cautionary tale in hopes of preventing tragedies like these to children going forward. Viewer discretion is advised. That is your official disclaimer. All right, and sorry about the technical difficulty, but you guys can see we're getting better. We're trying to keep this thing rolling nice and smooth. But I want y'all to take a look at this baby. Beautiful smile, and I don't understand what even happened to her here or why this even happened. But a grandmother is heartbroken after a shooting claimed the life of her granddaughter earlier this week. The man accused of killing the young girl is her own father. Her own father, according to Barrow County Sheriff's Office. And I'm getting this article from 11alive.com, so thank you for the article. On October 17th, deputies said Leonard Ahern, Ahearn, I think that's how you pronounce it, Ahern, Leonard Ahern, shot his 12-year-old daughter, Angel Ahern, and that's Angel right there, 12 years old, but I think her full name is Angelique Ahern, but they call her Angel for short, and his girlfriend before turning the gun on himself inside a home on Celestial Road in Winder. Both Angel and her father died. I don't think anybody was expecting it to go that far. In fact, I know nobody was expecting it to go that far. Could anybody predict that it would happen? Absolutely not, Angel's grandmother, Monica Dunning, explained. Dunning said that Angel just turned 12 years old on October the 11th of this year. She was gunned down 6 days later, allegedly by her own father. While the investigation into the deadly shooting is ongoing, Dunning said that her granddaughter, was failed by the system. Here's where it starts to get complicated. Angel's mother, Angelique's mother, died in a car crash on Halloween in 2016. That was already tragic as it is. And guess we're going to talk about that GoFundMe here in just a moment. I'll bring it back up here. Y'all give me just a moment. This was Halloween of 2016 when her mother died in a car crash. The next day, Dunning said her granddaughter was placed into child protective services in Tennessee. She was placed in CPS custody because Angel had no contact order with Leonard because of the domestic violence accusations. Let me say that again. Let me say that again. There was a no contact order in place because of domestic violence accusations. And I think that is very important because I want y'all to understand that he ended up getting custody of her instead of the grandmother. But I'm kind of jumping the gun there, but no pun intended. Dunning said over the next few years, Angel was placed in 8 to 10 foster homes in Tennessee before Leonard Ahern was awarded custody in May 3rd of 2021. Here's why I feel so terrible about this. Now, if I would have known the detail that there was a domestic violence accusation against him, I wouldn't have took a chance on this father. If that were not in existence, if that were not the case, normally I say if the custody is not in the hands of the biological mother, which most times it is, in this case, the mother passed away, I'm naturally thinking, give the father a chance. Why not give the dad a chance? We don't always have to put these children in some other woman's hands or in this case, 8 to 10 other foster homes. I'm thinking, damn, so y'all not going to get a dad a chance at all? But then again, he had a domestic violence accusation against him. So that was probably why it took him so long to get custody. But at that point, it was his responsibility to live up to that custody, because guess what he could have did? He could have just let that girl go on her own way and just stay in foster homes or eventually get picked up by grandma or somebody else. It didn't have to lead to this. He asked for custody and then took his daughter's life. That is just callous. They said, it's heartbreaking that I feel like me and my family were absolutely robbed from the time that my daughter passed away. We just we had very very limited contact, and there was absolutely no reason why she couldn't have come with us. I passed all the foster parenting classes and background checks, so it sounds like that she was trying to get custody. I was licensed kinship foster care home, Dunning claimed. Leonard and Angel moved to Barrow County at some point after he was awarded custody. Dunning said he wasn't aware of where Angel was until she had got a phone call overnight on Tuesday when she learned that Angel was dead. You never think, somebody you loved was caring for you and was, I can't read that. Let me read it again. You never think that, somebody that you loved was caring for you and was, nice and lived with you would turn that drastically that fast. I wish they would have rewrote that. You just don't see it coming. And Angel, she had a horrid life, but I'll tell you, she took it in stride. I wish they would have rewrote that so I could read it properly, so I'm sorry. Leonard Ahern, the father, was never charged for any of the allegations made against him in Tennessee. He was never charged. So that's just a lose-lose situation. 11 Alive reached out to the Tennessee Children's Services on Friday multiple times by way of email, but hadn't gotten a response. 11 Alive also reached out to the Barrow County Sheriff's Office to see if they had any prior calls to the home in Winder, Georgia, before Monday's triple shooting. In the 911 call released on Friday, a third-party caller who claimed to be the surviving woman's aunt said that her niece had been trying to leave Leonard Ahern for the past year. She wasn't sure what happened on Monday leading up to the shooting, only stating that there was a domestic issue. On the 911 call, the woman's aunt told the dispatcher there was a scream in the house followed by gunshots, then silence while she was on the phone with her. Angel Ahern's family created an online fund to help them with their funeral arrangements. They said any remaining money will be donated to a domestic violence organization. I do like the sound of that. I can appreciate that. For those who were asking about the GoFundMe, let me get that up here for you. As I took a screenshot of it. And I want you guys to remember that I am not against GoFundMe, nor have I ever been against GoFundMe in general. What I am against is people who don't have a plan for children's life, meaning life insurance is easy and cheap to get. I think we should all have a plan for life and death, which most people don't. But I think we could do better, okay? Now, they do have a GoFundMe up here asking for $10,000. They're at $4,150 so far. It is titled Angelique Hearn. That's her full name. So you ought to be able to find it pretty easily. Thomas Vitagliano is the organizer for that fundraiser. So if you guys want to check that out, you can look it up. Let me give you guys the fair usage. I try to read this stuff as best as I can, so y'all just got to bear with me when I get tongue-tied. So let's get it. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use. It is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107. We could also call this hashtag babies for benefits. So thank you for the person that called that out in the chat. Because I think that he only took this child because he wanted to collect benefits off of this child. He clearly didn't love his daughter, okay? But if you guys would do me a favor and click that thumbs up and share this video. Also want to say this. I do not think that the Child Protective Services system messed this up. I do not. I think they actually did what they were supposed to do. They thought this out and they made very, very rational choices that sounded like they were sound. Let me explain what I mean. They went to the length before they ever gave this dad custody, because there were allegations out there. They said, we're going to put her in another foster home and 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 another one and another one and another one. Before they ever said, okay, Dad, fine, we'll give you a chance. Maybe the grandmother would have been a more suitable choice, which I think in this case, yes, she probably was. Why they didn't give her a chance if they gave 10 other people a chance, I don't know. That's beyond me. But I think you can rationally deduce from this and say, okay, Dad, we'll give you a chance. He just messed up. This is not a failure of the system. It is not. Okay, here we go.
New tonight, a family is looking for answers and they're pointing fingers at Tennessee's Department of Child Services. It comes after a 12-year-old girl from East Tennessee was shot and killed inside a Georgia home by her father. Now her grandmother is speaking out. Reporter Mary Klingler talked to her, and Mary, she says this could have been avoided.
Yeah, Robin, deputies say Angel's mother was killed in a car crash in 2016, and then she was put into state custody. Her grandmother says even though she was fighting for custody, Angel was placed in about 8 different foster homes and eventually put into her father's custody.
I just wanted to bring her home so that she could mourn her mother with family.
It's an unimaginable crime. A man shooting and killing his daughter.
If she had just came here, that this whole thing would have turned out differently.
Angel Ahern had just turned 12 on October 11th.
There was no way that you could be in a room with her if even 2 seconds and not just absolutely love her. She was outgoing, she was expressive, she was happy.
Grandmother Monica Dunning says before Angel's mother died, the father wasn't allowed to see her.
He wasn't allowed to have any contact with Angel because the abuse allegations started before my daughter died. They were in the throes of getting divorced.
Angel's mother died in a car crash on Halloween 2016. The next day, Angel's life would dramatically change.
I filed for custody and I went through the whole ICPC process, and it never happened.
Instead, Dunning says Angel was placed into several different foster homes across Tennessee.
I felt like they would place her with anybody else but me.
In May of last year, Tennessee Child Services awarded custody to her dad. 17 months later, they moved to Barrow County, Georgia, where deputies say he shot and killed her before killing himself.
She watched her father walk up to her and put a gun to her head and shoot her. So that's just horrifying. And no 12-year-old, and especially that 12-year-old, should have gone through that.
Dunning is left asking why. Representative Gloria Johnson says it's one of several issues with DCS.
I mean, it's just morally wrong.
She says DCS is understaffed, underpaid, and letting mistakes fly under the radar.
I think it is time to find the money to address the situation now.
Well, we reached out to Tennessee DCS and they said they're deeply saddened by this tragedy. A spokesperson for the department says in part, when DCS is made aware of Tennessee child living in unsafe conditions, the department follows the established protocol to petition the court, and the court makes the final decision about the child placement. We reached out to the court's judge and he said he has no comment at this time. Now Johnson says she's asking the governor to do something now before another child is hurt. She says that you can help by contacting your state representative. You can find out how to do that on our website right now. Robin.
Heartbreaking all the way around. All right, Mary, thank you. New tonight, a family is looking for answers and they're pointing fingers at Tennessee's Department of Child Services. It comes after a 12-year-old girl from East Tennessee was shot and killed inside a Georgia home by her father. Now her grandmother is speaking out. Reporter Mary Klingler talked to her, and Mary, she says this could have been avoided.
Yeah, Robin, deputies say Angel's mother was killed in a car crash in 2016, and then she was put into state custody. Her grandmother says even though she was fighting for custody, Angel was placed in about 8 different foster homes and eventually put into her father's custody.
I just wanted to bring her home so that she could mourn her mother with family.
It's an unimaginable crime. A man shooting and killing his daughter.
If she had just came here, that this whole thing would have turned out differently.
Angel Ahern had just turned 12 on October 11th.
There was no way that you could be in a room with her if even 2 seconds and not just absolutely love her. She was outgoing, she was expressive, she was happy.
Grandmother Monica Dunning says before Angel's mother died, the father wasn't allowed to see her.
He wasn't allowed to have any contact with Angel because the abuse allegations started before my daughter died. They were in the throes of getting divorced.
Angel's mother died in a car crash on Halloween 2016. The next day, Angel's life would dramatically change.
I filed for custody and I went through the whole ICPC process, and it never happened.
Instead, Dunning says Angel was placed into several different foster homes across Tennessee.
I felt like they would place her with anybody else but me.
In May of last year, Tennessee Child Services awarded custody to her dad. 17 months later, they moved to Barrow County, Georgia, where deputies say he shot and killed her before killing himself.
She watched her father walk up to her and put a gun to her head and shoot her. So that's just horrifying. And no 12-year-old, and especially that 12-year-old, should have gone through that.
Dunning is left asking why. Representative Gloria Johnson says it's one of several issues with DCS.
I mean, it's just morally wrong.
She says DCS is understaffed, underpaid, and letting mistakes fly under the radar.
I think it is time to find the money to address this situation now.
First tonight at 11, a story you will only see right here on 11 Alive. We're getting our first look at a 12-year-old. Her name is Angel Ahern. She was murdered by her father on Monday. This happened at her home in Winder, that's in Barrow County. Deputies say that Angel's father, Leonard, shot her along with his girlfriend before turning the gun on himself. The girlfriend survived. 11 Alive's Cody Alcorn spoke exclusively with Angel's grandmother. And Cody, you also listened to that 911 call, right?
Yeah, the 911 call alleges a relationship that was on the rocks for nearly a year. What we're learning about 12-year-old Angel Ahern is absolutely heartbreaking. She lost her mom in a crash, Halloween 2016, bounced around multiple foster homes, then awarded custody to her dad in May of last year. 17 months later, deputies say he killed her.
I don't think anybody was expecting it to go that far.
It's an unimaginable crime, a man shooting and killing his own child.
Could anybody predict that that would happen? Absolutely not. Absolutely not.
Angel Ahern just turned 12 on October 11th.
She was always just a happy,
Even before she could talk.
yeah. She, from the day one when she learned how to smile and she didn't know how to say hi, she would wave.
Monica says the first few years of Angel's life were like any other child's, but things aren't always as they seem from the outside. On Halloween 2016, tragedy struck.
She was 6 when her mother passed away. Yeah, she died in a car accident.
The next day, Angel's life would dramatically change.
Well, she was placed in CPS custody because she had a no contact order with Leonard because of the domestic violence accusations.
Monica says Angel was placed in 8 to 10 different foster homes in Tennessee between November of 2016 and May of last year, when she was awarded custody to her dad by Tennessee Children's Services.
It's heartbreaking that I feel like me and my family were absolutely robbed. From the time that my daughter passed away, we had very, very limited contact. And there was absolutely no reason why she couldn't have come here.
17 months later, Leonard Ahern and Angel moved to Barrow County, where deputies say he shot and killed her before killing himself. I'm told Leonard Ahern was never charged for any of the allegations made against him in Tennessee. I reached out multiple times today to Children's Services in Tennessee. I've not heard back. I've also reached out to Barrow County about Any prior calls to this home in Winder before Monday's deadly shooting, they've not responded.
Let me say this. In closing with this particular story, let me say this. I still say that I don't blame CPS. If there is only a simple thing that they might have gotten wrong, was that the one person that they should have tried, if you're going to try all of these different homes, was the person who was working through all of these classes, and especially if you had to choose between the grandmother and the dad. The dad had the accusation of domestic violence over his head, but grandma didn't. I think that they should have, out of those 10 homes, they should have given her a try. And we all feel in our hearts that it would have worked out if this baby would have ended up with grandma. I don't think that they're wrong, because even if there was an accusation there of domestic violence, that's all it was. It was an accusation. They didn't pursue it in court. They didn't get a conviction. So you can't hold that over the man's head and say that he was a violent person, even though now we see this, now that this is the aftermath, and say, oh yeah, clearly those accusations point to that he probably was a hothead, or whatever the case is, unstable, shouldn't have had this girl in his possession. Okay? So, in closing, normally we would hope and pray that if you place a child, if a mother passes away, because you only got one mother and one father, if one of them passes away, you would hope that you can place them with their other DNA tie, their direct DNA tie, their other parent, and would hope that that parent would make sure that this child could grow up and become something great. This dad failed. That really makes people like me advocating for fathers, that it takes a blow to our message. And I understand if they have more apprehension because of situations like this. I'm going to continue to keep advocating for biological fathers, because statistics are on our side, and we see that there are a lot of good fathers out there, but we got to continue to keep making sure that we make the right choice. And I think just here, the better choice would have been grandmother. So to young Angel, young princess, RIP. I think that CPS did the best that they could, and at least they went above and beyond to try to make sure that they didn't put this child with the dad, knowing that that was looming over his head. They say, you know what, we'll go ahead and give you a chance. He begged for that chance. He got it, and took advantage of it in a really, really bad way. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section about this story. That's what the comment section for. Leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so, okay? Thank you.